also sick of losing against those narrow formations or those opponents that play those very nasty high pressure automatically AI attacking formations? Well, we've got a formation for you. Let's go and have a look at our special 3-5-2, how to beat the current narrow meta formation. So let's have a look at that 3-5-2 narrow formation beater. It works really well versus narrow formations, but if you are playing against non-narrow formations like the 4-4-2, I would maybe consider not playing this formation. However, we face a lot of narrow formations, so this is definitely going to be able to help you with this. Let me explain. We got, of course, the 3-5-2, which has two center defensive midfielders, and we have the defensive style on pressure, on heavy touch. We want to do that because, especially in the narrow formations, people tend to be very speedy on their attack. They take a little time to actually look at where they're going, and they tend to go narrow and forward straight away. When you're in pressure on heavy touch and they take a bad touch, or they come back from your attack and they have the ball, they might actually give you the ball straight back. With we got on 40, we don't want to go too narrow, but we also don't want to go too wide. I think 40 is a perfect situation to be at. If you want to go more narrow, you'll be exposed on those crosses. If you go more wide, the 4-1-2-1-2 will definitely nail you on the through balls. The depth is on 55. Why do we want to have it on 55? If you want to make it a little bit higher, I think that's very viable if you have those team of the year very fast defenders. If not, I would definitely stay at 55. Don't go lower than 55. Our experience is that you might be overrun because you get pushed back too much. Then have a look at the build-up play. The build-up play is on balanced and forward runs. Why do I want to have it on balance and forward runs? Well, that's quite easy actually. Balance is, no, the word says it, it is the most balanced, but above all, you don't want to do anything fancy in attack. You want to make sure you get those nice open passing lane. You want to make sure that you keep the ball in the play. But what we do want to do is we want to have it on forward run. Forward runs works exceptionally well with pressure on heavy touch, especially when you apply a little bit pressure on that midfield. In the narrow formations, in the midfield is the most important position, but if they lose the ball in the midfield, then it's your time to strike. So what we're aiming for with the 3-5-2 is to turn over the balls from midfield, then all the players around you will go for a forward run. If they go for a forward run, you have so many chances and so many openings. The width is just on 50, players on box is on 5, corners and free kicks is of course as always preference, but we want to make sure that currently is just on 2. Let's have a look at the player instructions. So the goalkeeper is a bit of preference, but I prefer to have them come from crosses and balanced. The center defenders, you keep them on balance. Don't change anything. Just stay back. That's it. Then we go into the midfielders. You need to have two type of center defense midfielders. One CDM that's actually really good at defending. Doesn't actually need to be much more than that. If you have the guys like Desailly, Lothar Matthäus came out now. The big strong guys who have good defensive stat. Those need to be on one side. Doesn't matter if it's left or right, but the one that is the best defender, you're going to put him on good passing lane, stay back while attacking, and cover center. Other midfielder you want to have is a midfielder that's able to turn, take a shot, and preferably able to pass over a longer distance. In my situation, I'm using Lucas Paqueta for that. Just everything on balanced and cover center. That way, whenever you have possession, they will sort of split apart and have those nice 45-degree angles open. But whenever you don't have possession and your opponent's on the attack, everything in the center will be closed off. Then have a look at your cam first. Your cam is on comeback on defense. Get into the box for cross. He's on comeback on defense because we want to counter those narrow formations, which means we need to have a compact midfield. And he's on get into the box for cross because one of your wing backs in this situation, of course, left midfielder and right midfielder have the ball. They are always able to give a free passing option towards him. Makes us go to the most important position players in this formation, namely your wingers. Right midfielder, left midfielder, wing backs, doesn't matter how you call them, because they should be all over the place. Preferably you have high work rates on these guys. High stamina, high crossing. Defense is nice, but not absolutely needed. Would be the lesser stat to have a look at. Of course, it would be nice if they can defend, but the crossing stat is really important, and they need to have high stamina because they will run a lot. Formation will be a 5 at the back on defense. It will almost be a 5 in the front when you go all out attack, when you have turnovers. That's where the pressure on heavy touch come from. And these guys need to make sure you are able to cross. So they are comeback on defense. They are on stay wide, so you always have an out when players are pushing towards you, and they are on get into the box for cross. Going forward to your strikers, of course, with Andrei Shevchenko here, with everything going on in Ukraine, I thought it was very fitting to use him for a week. Both strikers, preferably at least one guy that's big, strong, and can make a header. The Ronaldos, maybe a Shevchenko in this situation, right? Benzema can work. Well, you name it. There's plenty of options, but they should be able. Ibrahimovic is a good one. If they can make a header, it's going to be really beneficial for you. And one who is able to have the ball in the feet and just make a move. In my situations, Shevchenko, Neymar, it was Ronaldo and Neymar. They are on stay central, get in behind, and come back on defense. Once again, come back on defense because you want to make sure that midfield is all compact and narrow. And once you get the pressure on heavy touch over, once you get that turnover, the forward runs will activate. They will all bomb forward, and then you can use them. You don't necessarily need all the speed in the world. The speed comes from your takeover once you go from the midfield. At that point, there are still some defenders left. Why it's more important for you to have higher accuracy on your crossing and better players that can make a header or high finishing than actually prefer speed on the striker. So this is also an interesting information to test that. And that's it. Thank you for staying till the end of this video. Go check out footcoaching.com. Give us a thumbs up, of course, if you like this, and leave us feedback. I think it's very important for us to learn what you want to see. So drop it in the comments. How did you like it? What would you like to have changed? And what are you looking forward to seeing to us? Thank you for sticking with us, and see you next time, footies.